Welcome back to the Jackedupbear Minecraft Let's Play series. We just had some somber music playing, so I was trying to start the episode there. Not that it's a somber episode or anything, but it's raining. The music's very somber. I'm spending some time at the mob spawner. Got some stuff in my inventory already just from picking up, trying to clean out some of the chests. Because if you remember from the last mob spawner episode, we had too many bows. We need to do something about that soon, but... Jacked up kitty? Sorry, the kitty was doing her thing. Acting like a kitty. And I know at the end of that last episode I said I wasn't going to make you guys sit here and watch me do the mob spawner, but, you know, I really am trying not to play any Minecraft without recording it. Just to better use my time. Because I swear every day I keep learning more and more the hard way that you really just gotta manage your time really, really well when you're busy. Otherwise things can get away from you. It's been a crazy year for us. It's what I would call a record year, personally. For a lot of reasons. Me and Jacked Up Wife are about to celebrate our 1-year anniversary this month of being married, and that's really exciting. And the time really just flew by. We have our first baby to be expected here in a few months, so really just a phenomenal year for the family. Jacked Up Wife's been having a hard go of things, you know, pregnancy. But healthy nonetheless, so very happy and very thankful for that. Very grateful for our lives. Yeah. Also, just another part of this year has been every like half a year or so, which we're kind of around that time. I do a lot of reflecting, and I do this thing where I go through old journal entries and I go through my old pictures I've taken for the year. And just sort of reflect on the year I've already had, and you know, just a way for me to recollect myself and to help my focus in the long term, especially for my long term goals, obviously, but just in keeping my daily routine going, and the short term stuff is less impacted when I do things like that as a sort of marker or time for reflection. And I've talked about that before with the series, how when I play Minecraft every day for 30 minutes, it's like a reflection period for me, where I can think about my whole day and kind of use this medium to just have an expression and basically make it like a journal entry. I was trying to repair this, but I keep just swinging my sword. But yeah, just to have this sort of be a reflection and stuff. So that's why I'm talking about a lot of this. Usually I'm not trying to be in your face with anything. Like, I got major W's out here, and I'm just trying to kind of reflect on why that is, and maybe in some ways, Kitty, please stop. I had to roll the the back cracker thing at her to get her to stop. Not throw, roll. Let me be clear. And here's Jacked Up Dog going crazy. But anyways, just a great year in general, and again, I say that as like a means of reflection, and the reason I share it here is just to be like, if you want to do things like that, it's important to handle yourself in your life a certain way, and I don't know, I just try to give advice because I feel like a lot of people struggle, and not just like in one way or many ways, but in like very specific ways with certain things, and I've been there, and I've had those same struggles, and so sometimes I just kind of try to talk about it here to let people know. Recently, one of my, I call them friends, they're more of an acquaintance to the internet, but you know, you make friends on the internet, and recently they were talking about, you know, the grind of YouTube and trying to stay motivated, and you know, it's like a passion, but it's also just a hobby, and like those kind of things. And I just think a lot about that kind of stuff when I see it. And I'm like, you know, we all just communicate and use our collective knowledge and share with each other about our successes and our failures, then that's how we just grow as a species. And you know, I know a lot of people that watch my videos are fairly young, and so if you're having a hard time figuring out who or what or where you should be, you know, just take some time to reflect and maybe try to pick up some things that I talk about, like the meditation. It's not like a meditation, it's just a reflection. And now that I've turned to YouTube and doing this 30-minute a day thing with Minecraft, that has become my time to reflect. I used to do it in different ways, and I still do. Don't get me wrong. I have this sort of thing with places that have, you know, meaning to me, and I go to those places a lot, and I'll just reflect. And I haven't so much in the past years because I've been with Jacked Up Wife, and it's given me the opportunity to reflect with her, you know, my partner, my life partner, and to just have those conversations about what we're thinking about and those kind of things. And so it becomes less of a solo thing and more of a let's grow together. And my friend was also talking about that and how that's like a big pressure too, to be like be a certain age and to not have the same setup in life as your peers or as your friends or anybody like that, whatever you want to call it, and how that can weigh on your mental and make you feel like you're spending time doing things that maybe you shouldn't, and rather focusing on that. And at least in my experience, I found that when and this is very, I know this is unique to me and maybe quite a few people, but just it's my experience, right? When I stopped searching, when I felt like I had lost all hope, and I was just like, you know what, it's just gonna be me and my gold, you know, I'm gonna be like a little Scrooge McDuck, and I'm just gonna have my money, and that's it. And not that I'm like a extremely wealthy 1%er or anything, but like, you know, that I'm just gonna grind and do that kind of stuff and just focus on building that up. And for a long time I did that, and after a while, when you're doing that, you kind of ask yourself why, or like, when's enough, and you know, you contemplate morality and death, and thinking about you can't take it with you, right? You can't put a camel through the eye of a needle, and that kind of thing. But that's a different kind of lesson, but it's the same idea. So, you know, just when I settled on, well, when I thought I had settled on that, that's when I met Jacked Up Life. And I met Jacked Up Life at a time in my life where, you know, like I'm saying, I was very shut off from the outside world. I had just done a lot in my life in that few years prior to meeting her. And I had moved from different places, and I had changed careers and pretty much restarted my life, and just basically said, even though I'm very young, like, I was on a set path, and I was successful in that path, and then I just said, you know what, we're going to do it differently, and I did. And so I was really focused on restarting at that time and refocusing and all those things. And this is same time period that I picked up a lot of these habits or techniques that I use today to keep up with my goals and those things I want to focus on. But it was not a time of like pleasure for me, or not a time of like happiness those few years before I met her. It was more of a time of like, not like I was waiting for something, but I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I had accepted my fate, and maybe I was waiting for death. Maybe I was, but it was just so, you just disconnect, and you go to a different place that just isn't real, and you live in like a weird little bubble in your own head about a lot of things. At least I did. And that's hard to escape. And definitely, jacked up kitty, relax. Everybody's acting nuts in this house. Besides, jacked up wife. But I don't even remember what I was saying. The dang cat. But just basically that, like, I was like head down, locked in. I didn't really notice what I should have noticed. But it didn't matter because I met another individual, jacked up wife, who, whether she believes it or not, possesses a very similar willpower to my own. And I say whether she believes it or not because sometimes she does lack the confidence that I possess. And well, that's just human nature, to doubt yourself and to think that way and feel like it's always normal to feel like you could be better, but it's important to learn how to apply that and not let it weigh you down. And so I say these things about checked up wife because in a time where I was, shut out from the world, locked down, and I've talked about this before. If you're a regular viewer, you're probably like, oh my god, this guy and his damn love story again. Shut up. But I'm really just saying this because, like I said in the beginning of the episode, I'm trying to help myself, but also other people who are into the series, who are sticking around for these kind of things. Because I do this. So if you're new and you're like, wow, this guy's yapping, I'm about to shut this off. That's alright. Check out some of my other episodes. Check out the Arma ones. But, yeah. Jacked up wife had this, possessing the same willpower as me. Okay, we're refocusing. Refocus, right? That's what we're talking about. Jacked up wife possessed such an aptitude for me that her willpower and determination really just pulled through. And I really respect that because when you're looking for a life partner, you have to be able to identify those things that you need, and that's something that I needed, that I never fully accepted, is that I needed someone else. Kitty. Okay. That I needed somebody else to have the same kind of willpower to just absolutely believe in their goals and their dreams and what they think their future is, and to just go for it. To just have, I don't know, I know she was afraid, but to just do it without limitation. And yeah, it's been pretty baller ever since. Oh my god, Jacked Up Kitty is being an absolute menace. Okay, Jacked Up Kitty, relax. I don't know what she's getting into, but she is a pretty happy cat these past few months, and she is insane. I have all these little action figures around the house, even in windowsills and things like that. If you remember the little toy soldiers, the little plastic ones that were they could play with the dinosaurs and the little plastic guys, and their feet were attached by a little platform usually, so they could stand. I have some of those around, and I feel like every once in a while Jacked Up Kitty just gets crazy and starts going after him. And oh, that's what she's doing right now. She's being crazy. But okay, empty inventory, empty brain. Ready? Empty brain. Basically what I'm saying, sometimes the thing you're most focused on is not what's most important. And figuring that out, whether you do it by yourself or with someone else, is the greatest challenge in life. Because you're going to find yourself just constantly distracted by things that aren't really going to be important to you in a few years. Or it's just a pattern. It's a pattern in all of humanity. The fads, the trends, those things. If you learn to weather those storms and wade that tide, you'll do all right. And I'm going to use an example that I've used in the past. A long time ago, I by my own means, discovered several internet communities that I was really fascinated by, and these communities shared ideas and philosophies about the future that I really connected with and really agreed with. And for the longest time, I believed in those communities and participated in them. And that kind of conviction has really paid off in my life. And not like a not in like oh shit boy we set, but in the way that's I know that my kid will be okay, and that when I'm gone, that when we're gone, I won't have any fears about it. And those communities and stuff that I talk about that I believe in, and it's Bitcoin and not so much, well, cryptocurrency, but not so much all these other ones that are going around. And I've done my fair share of trading and making my own money off of those things, but I'm a long-time believer and participator in the blockchain and Bitcoin, and it's just it's a thing about conviction and belief and just not listening to any kind of outside noise. And maybe it is part of that whole being focused on one thing when it won't be important in a few years. Maybe that'll be the end of all this for me, but whatever. It's given me a sort of ability to say I just believe in myself and I believe in everything that I know to be true. And most of the time when people tell me I'm wrong, I'm not. And like that sounds really, really arrogant, but I'm just that guy, and I'm sorry, but like just who I am. I for whatever reason roll the dice once in a while and end up doing all right. And I know that's it's not I'm not 100% on anything, but man am I blessed. So I think that when you get that kind of feeling too, that's important for all of this stuff I'm talking about, like just leading with your heart. It's important to think about things and have a good brain, but if you follow your heart and the ideas that make you feel good, that you say, yeah, that's the society, that's the world that I want to participate in, then you'll be all right. 'Cause you'll find a certain kind of peace, and as long as you don't let the status quo or the non-believers intervene or interrupt you, shit boy, never have anybody tell you what to do again. Live your own life, make your own choices, participate in the things you want to participate in. So hell yeah, can't tell me nothing. But also don't fall into your own trap. Sometimes I do that, just being overconfident, arrogant, cocky can get the best of you. But still, believe in the pillars of your of some kind of foundation that you can create for yourself. For me, that's really just like the truth and minding my own business. I want to know about the world. I want to know about all the little intricacies of the universe. I want to know that stuff because I think it's fascinating. I think it's good for us as a capable sentient animal being, whatever you want to refer to it as, to understand these things. Mostly because we live here. We're just doing it. We're living, right? So it's good to have an understanding so that we don't all have to suffer at the hands of reality as much as we're used to as humanity. But I don't even know where I was going with this anymore. But basically, just fucking believe in yourself. That's what happens when you get on Minecraft. You just start yapping. Believe in yourself. Jackedupbear 2025. The greatest quote of all time. I'm what you would call a modern day philosopher. Basically just Jordan Peterson, but but just talking to myself on YouTube. Basically, I just give myself motivational speeches every day, and just keep winning because of it. That's part of the grind too, though. Like when I'm talking about believing in yourself, if you really believe in yourself, you're gonna have lots of conversations with yourself where you're like, "No, that just it can't be whatever." Doubt, you know. Shit, you gotta beat yourself. That's the only person you gotta beat is yourself. Crazy and cliche as that sounds, it's the truth. All right, I'm. You know what? Fucking creepers. Piece of shit. This is what I'm talking about. There's gonna be haters. There's gonna be creepers. Alright? And they're gonna say you're wrong. They're gonna say you don't know nothing. They're gonna say boom on all your stuff. They're gonna come in, they're gonna ruin your day. But you know what? Get a pile of dirt and just fill it in. You know? Talking about philosophy. Get on that Marcus Aurelius grind and just be like, if there's brambles in your path, go around them. Or literally any philosopher that's just like, that's life. Gotta figure it out. I recently had that conversation with somebody close to me in my family. I was just like, you gotta figure shit out. And I don't know any other way to say it. Because that's just the reality. You just gotta figure it out. And if you can't, ask for help. Don't have any shame in asking for help. So I'm talking about communication. Like that's that. They're like when people talk about communication breakdown, it's really just about like we couldn't help each other basically. So yeah. You know what I'm saying. Minecraft vibes. Today's just a vibe episode where we're just ranting. Let's show you apps a lot one more time here. I'm not always like this, so every once in a while you just gotta get them in. You know what I should do? I'll get some stone. Some stone bricks. We'll go sleep, and then we'll go put some stone bricks out. Some different areas. Am I running out of stone bricks? Almost. Have to hit the quarry up again. I just came from if you're still watching at this part of the episode, you're probably one of my regular viewers, so we can get past all that other bullshit and just really get into it. I just came from a graduation event. Education's important. It's important to lift up the young people in your community, especially if you're in a small community, to encourage them to become the leaders of tomorrow. It's like community building 101. You got to figure out what's happening tomorrow first. Yesterday's important, right? But tomorrow is far more important. It's the only reason to have a community is because you're worried about tomorrow. So we're hoping for a better tomorrow. And that's part of like what I was talking about earlier when I was like disconnecting myself from a lot of things. I didn't grab the dirt today. I didn't feel like I was a part of any community, and I was kind of setting myself outside of all of that and saying, I don't really have a place in any of that, which just isn't true. If you decide, but you have to decide that if you want to participate in all this, and that's like, oh my god, is this round 2? What am I doing? Oh. York dog nut. Let's get after it. I feel like YouTube has been like a really great place for me to just say whatever and see how crazy it sounds. So I do a lot of, I do I do a lot of talking, public speaking. So I get in here and just get my crazy words out, and then I get better at public speaking. Believe it or not, this guy gets to encourage people to do things and learn and be in the public eye. Good lord. Me and Jackedupbear talk about it sometimes, but I'm the kind of guy that if I could have my way, I would talk to like 6 people for the rest of my life, and that's it. 7 maybe. And just be left alone. And that's not who I am in real life. Like, I have to talk to people. And maybe we'll get into that someday, but why I have all these responsibilities. But I have to talk to people. And sometimes it's just such a pain. Not that it's like I hate talking to people, it's just sometimes like people forget when you're capable or when you're a leader or, you know, when you can do things for them to help. They just forget that like you also have your own stuff going on. And a lot of times it happens with people who feel like their issues are so very urgent. And you know, it's hard to want to help everyone who doesn't want to help you or respect you in that way for like your time and your energy. But if you're in a position like mine, you don't really get to make choices like that. You have to help as many people as you can. At least that's what I think. This is my personal philosophies, right? So just sometimes it gets a little tiring. I don't want to go to work tomorrow, but I really should. It's just Friday. Most people will be gone anyways. Which is usually better for me because sheesh. The less people that are on, the more I get done. Nobody wants to yap. Nobody wants to chat, you know? Nobody wants to burn the oil at work, and I'm just like, you guys need more tasks. How do you have this much free time? But I'm also guilty of it sometimes too. Where I don't have the free time to be doing stuff like that, and I do it anyway. Because I'm just like, I'm sick of it. It's just human nature, right? Pro tip for any young people like that are watching the channel because of some of the philosophy takes, or maybe like that's just a little bit like of a pull for you. When you get into philosophy, just realize that when you learn new philosophies or have a new profound revelation about, you know, the brain, the mind, the soul, the spirit, that it's not as like profound or new as you think it is. Learn to apply it to your life, any kind of philosophy first before you go preaching it. So if you can't practice it what you're preaching, and you just, you know, you're just talking. If you're gonna talk a lot, you gotta know how to walk too. Hope that makes sense. Okay, that feels appropriate for the style here. I just need some half slabs. I think I'm gonna rework some of this. How much time we got? Oh, we're over. Okay. We're gonna end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed another, oh my goodness, another Jackedupbear yap session. I hope you guys had a good day. If you're making it this far in the video, what are you doing? What are you doing? But anyways, I'm Bear. Thanks for watching.